All right, all right, all right, all right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am James Oliver Jr., managing partner of Kabila Ventures, a new venture firm coming soon, CEO of Kabila, which connects overlooked founders to capital, customers, and co-founders. Founder of the Kabila Founder Mental Health Fund, which provides free mental therapy for founders who want it but can't afford it. Husband to an amazing wife and co-founder of the world's cutest twins. Hopefully you're out there listening to us, the sound of my voice. You're in the sound of my voice. Tell us where you're coming from in the comments. Please share this on your social media channel to invite your friends to join what will be for sure an important conversation. Also, as we get into this, please drop your questions in the comments, and we will all do our best to get to all of them. So what am I excited about right now? I'm writing a book. I'm writing a book to normalize conversations about founder and mental health. I'm partnering with a really cool guy, Django Degree, founder of focusonwords.com, which is actually it's a platform, a book writing platform, uses AI agents. He interviews you and use the AI agents to write the chapter, which is amazing. So it's going to be amazing. All the proceeds from the book will benefit the Kabila Founder Mental Health Fund. And oh, look, I got a treat for you here. I'm going to actually really quickly flash the cover of the book because, we're not really talking about it yet, but I'm just going to do like a quick tease. And here you go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right. That's it. Don't ask me no questions about it, but I just wanted to flash that so you can see what I'm working on. Very excited about that. So one of the things I like to do sometimes is to introduce you to cool founders doing really interesting work. And, today's no exception. I have a really awesome human founder that I recently met and connected with on a few levels, and I wanted you to meet him. So today we're going to have Jeff Johnston with us, founder and CEO of Brightn. And Jeff is a huge mental health advocate, which is how we met as ambassadors for the Real Mental Health Foundation. Welcome, Jeff. What's up, man?
Hey, it's great to see you, James. I'm happy to have this conversation, and thanks for the invite.
Yeah, of course, brother. I'm happy to have you. And so speaking of the Real, so actually I want to show. So I am. You're an ambassador too, right?
Yes, I am. Yep.
Were you an ambassador in Cedar Rapids?
Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Yep.
Okay. Are you doing your walk coming up this weekend?
Yes, I am. It'll be my fourth or fifth one now. So.
All right, right on. So here's can you hear me still, Jeff?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, cool. So here's the flyer for the walk. I'm doing a walk. I'm doing mine on Sunday. I know we typically do them Saturdays, but on Sunday my kids have tennis, and I just didn't want to be running around trying to do that and rush it back for tennis.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I'm anti all the running around. So I'm doing mine on Sunday. I think this is like my fourth or fifth one too. This is the last one. That this is my wife here. We had some cool people with my kids. I blur my kids' face up because I don't want them all over social media. But yeah, if you're in the Atlanta area, would love for you to come join us. So here's a link here. You can go to go.joinkabila.com/real walk, and you can RSVP. We do it here. I'm in the Johns Creek, Alpharetta area. Just come hang out with us. We walk for like an hour-ish, and we just walk and talk about anything, nothing. It's a lot of fun. So now I got that out of the way. So one of the things I want to talk to Jeff about, he's the founder of Brightn, so we can talk about that. But before we get into that, one of the things I was doing some research on, you said that, talk about, when purpose becomes passion, it becomes personal. And I want to know what you meant by that.
Yeah. So when I was first introduced to mental health, mental wellness advocacy, I was coming out of the investment world. I did wealth management. That's what I did for 32 years. It wasn't like VC world. It was more of, we did a radio, TV show, all these things. And I would attract people to come in, do financial plans, and we'd invest their money. Okay. And, that was a great ways to a means for my life. It gave me something to chase as a young man. I grew up watching Wall Street, with Michael Douglas and Charlie Sheen. And, I kind of had that capitalist mindset, and as I went through that journey, which was great until things in my life changed. And I think, with my story real briefly, because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but my oldest son passed away from an overdose of fentanyl. And then my wife drank herself to death. So in a 5-year span from 50 to 55, I lost half my family. And what happened was, and where this quote came from, James, is I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm at an age where peddling IRAs and setting up 401ks and talking about money wasn't my legacy anymore. It wasn't what got me excited. But what was going to get me excited? Well, I decided to take something personal in my life, and it's the loss of a son and a wife, almost myself, and immerse myself in knowledge of the topic. So I went to podcasts, I read books.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So let's pause for a sec, because you mentioned a minute ago that your son passed away, but then you just tossed in that your wife passed
Yeah.
away too. So, your son passed, and then your wife passed
Yeah.
away within
5 years.
Within 5 years of your
We're
son
married
passing?
21 years with 3 kids. Yeah. She drank herself to death. Yeah.
After your son,
Yep.
he passed away.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
For 50 to 55, when most friends of mine were posting their home runs and their kids graduating all these colleges and getting their second homes, I'm burying my family. And that Christmas, I sat in my closet with a gun to my head because my mom died 3 months later. And in my mind, death was a much better place than living. And that's what I told myself. But anyway, going back to your quote, this is where the idea of the quote came. Is I thought, well, I'm going to find something personal to me, which was mental wellness, addiction, substance abuse, all that. I'm going to immerse myself in the topic. So I wrote a book. I did a podcast myself. I bought an RV, drove around the United States for 20,000 miles, 95 days. Wanted to raise money and give it away to charity for mental health. And I thought to myself, well, this is kind of cool. So I found something personal. I became passionate about it, and my purpose was revealed. So I thought to myself, what a great life statement for me to reverse that. So purpose becomes passion when it gets personal. So when I talk to people and I keynote around the country, I say, if you're struggling with your purpose in life, think of something close to you. So it could be your dad died of Alzheimer's, your mom got breast cancer. Everybody has something personal. Immerse yourself with passion. Write a book, do a podcast, join clubs, advocate, whatever. And I will bet in doing it in that order that whatever you decide to do will become ultimately your purpose. And then your purpose leads to things like an app or a documentary or a youth center that you want to build. And that's where that quote came from, James.
Okay. No, that's really interesting. And, I know a little bit about your story because I was just on your podcast.
Yeah.
Recently, it's, and what I didn't know, your wife's name was Prudence. My wife's name is Prudence. I don't think I shared that with you.
No way.
On the podcast. Yeah. It's
That just gave me chills, man.
Yeah. My wife's name is Prudence, and she's incredible. Like I talk about all the time. She is the most self-aware person I know. And she has the best mental health hygiene out of anybody I know in the world. And, because of that, like, I just feel like personally and mentally, like I've been doing so much better because of, married to her, which has been amazing. She's been awesome, man. So let's get into Brightn a little bit. We could talk about that stuff forever.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, what is Brightn and what inspired you to start it?
Well, let me go back to the previous life I had. So as a financial planner, what I would do is if I met you in Prudence, let's say, I would do what's called a fact finder. I would ask a risk assessment. I would figure out your needs, your concerns, whether you're risk averse, whatever. You would then decide to hand over your 401k or whatever. And then I would diversify it into a portfolio of stocks, bonds, real estate, crypto, whatever. That's kind of the process. I got thrust into mental health, and I looked at the system and I thought, you know what? I was doing financial planning before financial planning was a thing. I mean, back in '89, when I came into business, James, we just sold high commission mutual funds and life insurance. And it was very a la carte. It was very episodic. It's like, oh, you have 100,000, here's MFSA share. That's what we did. Well, I looked at mental health and I'm like, there's a lot of similarities in the mental health space. Everything's episodic. Everything's acute. Everything's just labels and diagnosis and pills. And there is no element of planning. It's just like, oh, your kid's having a problem, send them to rehab. Oh, you're overweight, join the gym. And to me, it looked like a big game of whack-a-mole. And I thought, okay, what can I do to take my previous life and find an opportunity in a space where the demand is so high? And you know this as what you do with Founder Mental Health. And I thought, I want to introduce the world, in this case, the nation first, the idea of mental wellness planning. And if I did so, what would my human asset classes be? So if I'm going to invest in investments to have a good portfolio, what do I invest in humanity to have an improved human flourishing? That was my aha moment. And to me, my human asset classes were health, wealth, and purpose. And each one of them, statistically, I can tell you why it came to fruition. And the wealth part is our secret sauce. There's not an app on the planet that I found in this space that offers the ability to optimize human flourishing in those 3 areas: health, wealth, and purpose. So my job as a CEO now is to show its efficacy, to pitch this to as many employers and organizations that we can, and put this on the continuum of mental wellness in prior to telehealth, let's say. Most organizations in this space are in the treatment realm. I thought we need to have more options in the prevention and pre-treatment space.
Yeah.
And that was where the idea came of building the nation's first mental wellness planning app, optimizing areas in health, wealth, and purpose. That was like on a napkin, three years ago.
No, I love that. So the debt in the universe is you want healthier people who optimize around health, mental health, their purpose, and become wealthy because of all that.
Well, a healthy relationship with money. It's not about becoming wealthy. It's about a healthy, like, for example, the number one stressor for older Gen Z, 18 to 26, which I never saw in any mental health workshop. I never saw any conversations in any podcast I went to. The number one stressor is financial insecurity, not becoming wealthy. Huge difference in intentions. So our app, a third of our app is predicated on increasing the confidence level, heightening the level of security that people have on these topics. And the other stat I saw was that 77% of American adults could not get their hands on $1,000 by the end of the day without borrowing it from somebody. So where are kids learning healthy relationship with money? At home, when 80% of the parents have a poor relationships themselves. That's like trying to learning a healthy relationship with alcohol, living in an alcoholic family. It's hard to do. So those are my aha moments in regards to, and the health one was easy, breath work, meditation, all that's where most of the optics are. And then meaning and purpose was another huge one. A lot of people today, me included, I had no meaning and purpose until my son died. So why does it have to take death to enlighten you on what your journey needs to be? And so my path opened up this whole idea of this app. And again, an app, why an app? Well, that's where people live today. I was going to meet them where they're at. I'm a harm reductionist. So when someone's struggling with drugs, you go on the street, you hand out fentanyl test strips, you hand out clean, safe needles, you try to get them the help that they can to live another day. Well, that's kind of how I thought with the app. People are on their phones. I don't want to write a book about this topic. My podcast is great, but I think I can scale quicker in the space that we're in using already a tool that 95% of humans have access to, and that's their smartphones. That's what we did.
Yeah. So your customers, any specific demographic who your customer is?
Yeah. Our customer right now, our average customer on the app is 31 years old. Our initial thought was that schools would be like huge into this, that they would just embrace us and they would license with us. But we have found that
that's hard to do.
Well, yeah, for many reasons. And so we made some pivots, and one major pivot we made was into the employer benefits space, the insurance reimbursement space. We found very quickly that there are organizations willing to pay us for what we've built because it allows them to be a value add to whatever service they're providing, and also an additional revenue stream, especially things like Medicare and Medicaid billing. We actually fit specifically under a few codes that we just kind of came to fruition in the last couple of months, which has opened some jaw-dropping contracts for us. Yeah. So
I bet that's amazing.
Startup world, right? Pivot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what does the app cost for the average user to get access?
Yeah, it's about 20 cents a day. And just one thing too, and you didn't know this, but I think it's important. Words do matter in this space. I personally don't like the word user. We don't use that word. We use thriver. So we don't have users on our app because my son was a drug user. My wife was an alcohol user.
And who wants to be used, right?
Right. And I don't like that term at all. So on our app, in our ecosystem that we're building, our culture, everyone's a thriver. Our investors are thrivers. Our customers are thrivers. Yeah.
I love that. So that's cool, man. So 20 cents a day, that comes out to about $6 or $7 a month.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. And
so
we have a family plan, and we have a lifetime plan. We have an annual plan. That's our B2C. Yeah.
That's nothing. All right. So I took the liberty of, you sent me a demo, and I took the liberty of just kind of cropping down a little bit. I just wanted to show about a minute and 40 seconds. So people want to know what the app looks like. So let's just watch this very quickly, and then we can come back and you can talk a little bit about what we see and if there's anything that you want to expand on. Okay. So just stand by. I'm going to put this up on the screen real quick.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jeff Johnston, founder and CEO of AI mental wellness planning app Brightn. I'm honored to give you this short live demo today. Onboarding is quite simple, but I'm going to skip some of that just to get to the main parts of the app. I'm going to get into edit profile, and I'm going to focus on the goals and the challenges. So the first thing we want to know, and when you're communicating with your AI companion, is to make sure that we have the same, we're aligned well on what your mission is. So what would you like us to help you with? You can tell us anything that you'd like, and then we can save the changes there. And then also we get into what's holding you back. What are your challenges? Again, I pre-marked some of these to save on time. And now you set kind of the template of what the AI can know about you. I'm going to go back to what's called the home page. So this is the main page, and you can see it's broken into a couple segments. We have your day of the week. We have your points on the top left. And then we have your daily essentials. These are your quick check-ins. So you have your mood check-in, your daily journaling, morning intention. And then what we have, a personal mission statement. We've called it the unique life statement, and that's AI powered, and it's been getting a lot of use. The next is the My Plan. These are like your sticky notes that you have on your table or your refrigerator in the morning to remind you of things you have to do. Now, these are already kind of pre-populated because I'm doing a lot of live demos and sharing the app with many, many people. And then I'm going to get into I'm at the bottom now. So you have your home, your explore, your journaling, and your insights. I'm going to go to explore, and these are where the 500 videos live. There's also something called the Brightn zone, which is our patent pending technology that we have. And again, Brightn, if you remember, we aim to improve human flourishing at the intersection of health, wealth, and purpose. So that's a key part of our app. So
yeah, so I just wanted to show people what the app looks like. And you can go to brightn.app and learn more about the app. I was kind of looking as you were talking, the section, I think it was called like, what do you need help with? And I remember you talked about financial insecurity. I didn't see that. Was that an option on there too? Like a better relationship with money or something like that?
I can't recall, but it should be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so is there anything that, you showed there that you want to elaborate on at all?
No, I think what I'm finding out and our desire is that we want to give people another arrow in the quiver. So there may be some people that don't like AI, there may be some people that don't like whatever, but the reality is if we can offer Brightn as a way to self-assess and autonomously learn as you're improving your mental wellness, that's probably the overall goal. So there's many people on the app that the wealth part doesn't interest them whatsoever. Maybe they're depressed, maybe they're addicted to alcohol. And there's some people like one of our charter schools, the reason they contracted with us is we satisfied 90% of the state of Iowa financial literacy standards for charter schools.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, we didn't even know that when we were building it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was. And again, I have a firm believer, I don't know what your belief structure is, but I believe that the universe is doing some amazing things for us, not to enrich us, but to give us in a position where they're putting things and opportunities in my life. Meeting you is another one, meeting Sean at the Real, that, is giving us an opportunity to make this the most impactful mental wellness planning app on the planet. And so things like that, just luckily, satisfying 90% of the standards. We didn't design it that way, but man, it sure made us look good.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So you talked about, AI a second ago. So what do you say to people who are talking about caution that needs to be used around AI and wellness tools?
I have a great answer for you here, and I'm going to give you a quick example here.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have a Doberman. I have a Doberman. Okay. Or in this case, let's say pit bull. And my pit bull, let's do yours first. So yours is on a chain in the front of your house, and it runs up and down and barks at people all day long. And you throw it scraps of food. You're not very nice to it. And that's your pit bull. Okay. My pit bull, loving family. I cared for it. We trained it. We let it stay inside when it's cold. We're nice to it. People come by and it wags its tail. Okay. They're both pit bulls, right? One was the wild, wild west, and the other was trained correctly. That's how Brightn AI is with chat on the outside. Our AI has been trained with guardrails. It's mainly allowed to go off into areas of health, wealth, and purpose. So any areas in those areas are easily accessible. And then we put guardrails on to prevent it from going rogue. Like you can't ask our AI to make you a suicide letter like you can on chat. And so what I tell people right now is just because they hear AI and they hear hallucination and they hear all these other things and they overreact because they don't know enough about it. We were very intentional 2 years ago when we started this whole project by adding AI, and we fed it tremendous amount of content in regards to CBT, DBT.
I'm so glad you said that. Was my next question.
Yeah,
about
social emotional learning, psychoeducational, empathetic listening. So our AI is as intelligent in these areas as multiple neuroscientists and authors, but it doesn't allow you to go rogue. And if it does start to, if somebody lies to it or tricks it, we have 3-step protocol basically in any area, whether it's self-harm, depression, suicidal ideation, alcoholism, or that we can do certain ways we can off-ramp people to get the help that they need. So even though we're not telehealth, we're not arrogant to that we don't want to help people. So we want to be able to give people the service of getting help. And so we're licensing and partnering with telehealth organizations to provide that service.
So this is great. And I'm so glad you mentioned this, because I know there's a lot of articles about this now. And those platforms, they don't have the guardrails. I'm glad you spoke to what the guardrails are. And you mentioned CBTs. For most people, that's cognitive behavioral theory, which is a form of psychotherapy that aims to help individuals identify and change negative thought patterns, emotions, and behaviors that contribute to mental health problems. And the problem with some of these other platforms, like you talked about, OpenAI, for example, you didn't say it, I did, I am. Because that's what we're talking about. They don't have these guardrails in place. And there's articles of somebody's suing them now because, I don't want to get into all the details, but I think you just go Google it and you could figure out. So that's incredible that you're doing that. I'm so glad you're doing this. People can go to, let me see, you can go to visit Brightn.app.
The website's www.brightnapp.com.
Oh, so what's Brightn? You can go to Brightn.app too and get there too. That's how I got there.
Oh, well then, that works too then.
So if I change that, you said just visit Brightn.com?
Brightnapp.com.
I'll change that.
All one word. Yeah. www.brightnapp.com.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So if you just visit brightnapp.com.
Yep, that's it.
Which is probably easier for people to remember than Brightn.app. Just go there and you can learn more about what Jeff's building with Brightn. Super excited to learn more about this. So one other thing I discovered before we hop in the next few minutes is you were talking about some Living Undeterred project. Like, what is that? What's that about? What inspired you to do that?
Yeah, so that's my nonprofit that I started the first thing I did after Seth died is I formed a nonprofit, and I named it Living Undeterred because I wanted to have a nonprofit that focused heavily on resiliency, advocacy, altruism, being in service of others. And so when I did the tour around the United States in the summer right after my wife died, it was called the Living Undeterred US Tour. And even my podcast to this day is called Living Undeterred. And it's just using our story as a way to let people know, you know what, not sometimes, but if you live long enough, there's 100% probability you're going to have really bad things happen in your life. I mean, it's just guaranteed. Sometimes in my case, it was, death in the wrong order, son, wife, mom, and my dad's 93 and still alive. Statistically, he should have been the first to go and my son the last. So, and that's, it is what it is when you're born. You just never know when these days are coming. So building the coping mechanisms, having the resources available prior to these events inevitably happening is really where I think we hang our hat with Brightn. Arming people with arrows in the quiver, tools in the toolbox that when they do have a death, they do have a disability, they do lose their job, they get divorced, they file bankruptcy. Things that happen to millions of people every day around the world, that you look at these things as, bricks in the path of your life. And I've used that analogy before, is that I don't feel like I'm on a path. I think I am the path.
That's interesting.
So I don't think this is predestined for me. I think I make my own destiny. So in reality, each day is a block on that road that I'm on, and I don't know where it's going. I didn't know you a couple months ago. I didn't know Sean a couple years ago. And
Sean Lesser from the Real Mental Health Foundation.
I just keep putting, stones on my path, and I don't know where the fork's going to be. I don't know what's going to happen next, but man, I'm 59. I show up. I'm still here. I'm contributing. And I'm very thankful I didn't pull that trigger, 3 years ago when I was in my closet.
I'm thankful you didn't too, man. So what you just said is interesting. I'm not on a path. I am the path. And as you were talking about before about, what was that we were talking about here in my notes about passion, purpose becoming passion.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that you said that when you do this work, you find your purpose. Because as you were saying, I was thinking, well, I'm thinking that I already have a predestined purpose.
Yeah.
but you have a different take on that. You know, you find your purpose, and it's not that there's a path laid out for you, which is predestined. You know, you are the path. So I think that's a really interesting way to think about that.
I think for me, it's even if it is predestined, I don't know what that destiny is. And so I could sit around and wait for it to show up, or I could just start doing something about it. So I don't have the patience to sit around and wait for the clouds to part and chariot come down and somebody tell me what my path is.
Yeah.
I just don't.
That's not.
I've been waiting 59 years and it hasn't happened
yet.
It
works because it's this whole decision tree, right? Because we have free will. We have free will. You make a decision. There's consequences. So there's like myriad potential paths, I suppose, depending on what you do, and you're just like, do something, right?
And I'm like you. I don't wait well. I had a VC the other day I was pitching to, and he's like, man, it's like what's your sense of urgency? And he's like, I think he thought it was, I need to raise money. I need to close these deals. Like, no, my sense of urgency is 909 people die every freaking day in the United States from the deaths of despair. I don't have time to dance and beg. Every day that I don't secure deals, I don't close a VC raise, I don't make the app better, 909 people are dying. Now that's not my obligation, but it's certainly my legacy. And if I can get that to 908, 907, 906, that is what keeps me going every day, James. That's
your purpose, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, when I'm pitching to somebody, I think they think I'm there primarily to get their money. No, I want to find people that want to change the world. The money will come. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
I put enough of my own in. I'll keep putting my own in. And we're finding really, really great individuals and companies that see a belief in what we're doing. And that's why, like the Rio with Sean Lesser, man, when I first heard about this, I'm like, this is the culture I want to be in. I want to meet the people that want to make a difference. And sure, we get turned down, for every, we get turned down 95% of the people I talk to. Bro, and that's okay. I love them.
Wait, you got a 5% success rate? That's phenomenal.
No, I'm lying. It's like 1%. But you know what though?
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on a second. You said something. I'm like you. I don't like the wait. What have I done to make you think I don't like the wait? What have I done to make?
So yesterday, I had this VC group that reached out to me. They loved the story. I pitched it, and they told me yesterday that they're not confident that humans can change behavior to better mental health. And my response to them was one sentence: "Thank you for the opportunity. That's all I asked for. Best of luck." I didn't try to defend myself.
No,
I'm not going to beg.
You shouldn't.
You know what? I spent 1 second feeling sorry for their investors that they're going to miss an opportunity to invest in Brightn. And I'm okay. Next, bring it on.
Yeah. I love that.
I buried my family, man. And a VC or an investor isn't going to hurt my feelings. So
no, not at all. But I love that you're like, because I'm raising a fund too. And
yeah,
I'm like,
absolutely.
If an LP is not aligned with my thesis, no hard feelings, right? It's cool. There's 1,000 other people out there who are. Maybe 1 million. I just got to find them or attract them.
Both.
Right? Period.
Absolutely.
And that says no hard feelings. I'm not going to go cry in my cornflakes about it. I am on to the next. And I think when you show up with that kind of confidence, people are like, oh, wait, word? Like, let's talk, right?
And I'm happy you said that because it's not arrogance, it's confidence.
No. But you didn't answer my question about what makes you think I don't like the weight. No, seriously.
I think you and I are aligned very similarly. In the short time I met you, we're both like all over the board. So
hell yeah.
But like we said earlier, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I think for you and I, sure, it's comical and gets us maybe in trouble a few times, but the reality is it's why we do what we do. And what you're doing with your firm to raise money to help founders, I tell you, James, that is an absolutely unbelievable initiative, and I want to help you as much as I can.
All right. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So we're about to wrap this up in a second. Do you have a hard stop in the next minute? Because I want to talk to you about something else.
I don't.
All right. So for what Jeff's talking about here is I'm the founder of Kabila Founder Mental Health Fund, and we provide mental wellness resources for free for founders who want them but can't afford them. You can go to go.joinkabila.com/therapy. and learn more about that. I'm actually putting up a website here shortly. It's going to be like KabilaMentalHealth.com and .org or whatever. But for now, you can just go there and we'll automatically forward you to our Flip Cards landing page. But in terms of getting in touch with Jeff, you can email Jeff at jeff@brightenapp.com. You can go to visit Brightn. Wrong thing there. Why is this thing not popping out?
Oh, that's right. The bottom's right too.
I got to put it down. There we go. And this is what happens when you're doing all the things. There you go. Ham and egg doing all the things.
Multitasking.
Oh my God. I'm talking, I'm producing, I'm reading all the things, man. It's crazy. Visit brightenapp.com. Brightn.com to learn more about what he's doing and how he's, mixing wealth and health and mental health. And what was the other thing?
Purpose.
And purpose in the platform. Super affordable. It's like $6 or $7 a month. And it's awesome. Jeff, I'm excited to know you, man. And so I know in 15 minutes, I think we actually have our monthly ambassador meeting for the Real Mental Health Foundation. So excited to do that with you, man. And if you want to join me this weekend, if you're in the Atlanta area, visit go.joinkabila.com/real walk. And we do our monthly men's walk, mental health awareness walk. Everybody's welcome family, where we just talk about anything, nothing. It's just great to get out up in the Johns Creek area. And if you want to do that, and that's it, man. So stand by, Jeff. I'm going to pull you down. We're going to roll out. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Later.
Thank you.